X, boosted by the system Chapter 9. It's miserable. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. Li Hong was lying on the bed, feeling the injury of his body, the pain of breaking his hand, and his face was extremely hideous. Hatred and killing intent all surged in his heart. He is the master who likes to bully the weak, holding the strong and the weak, calling the wind and rain in the Sunshine College. Who dares to provoke him? I didn't expect it. Today, it will be beaten like this. In the eyes of so many mixed characters, being beaten like this, losing face, no longer having the previous breeze, and even being ridiculed by countless mixed characters. As soon as he thought of this, he was angry and hated to the extreme, and his face was distorted. Especially, he was still scrapped alive. Boss, don't worry, when we get better, let him not eat and go around. If this waste hadn't been covered by Hiromi Arita before, it would have been abolished by us when he was enrolled. The bastard who was abolished by Suze's hands had a distorted face, very resentful and angry. He doesn't dare to kill us. We'll kill him. His face was distorted and full of hatred, but thinking of the retaliation behind, he showed a cold, vicious smile. Even if there is a combat power index, what can it be? I want to kill a person with a combat power index. It's not that hard either. I'm sorry then, you guys, there is no chance. A low, hoarse voice sounded. Creak. The door to the ward was opened. The three of them are all children of rich families. The family is a little rich, the hospitalization ward is separate, and they are arranged into one at the same time. And usually no one bothers them at all. The three looked at the door of the ward in shock, and their pupils contracted instantly. Ward doorway. A figure wearing a black robe appeared, his whole body was wrapped in a black robe, his face was blocked by a black hood, and he was walking into the ward step by step. You. Li Hong's pupils widened and full of fear. Now he is a lamb to be slaughtered. Who are you? His voice trembled. The black-robed man smiled. You. Wasn't it talking about me just now? His voice was calm, but to the three, it was like a demon whispering from the 9 nether hell. Coupled with what he had just said, the three of them knew what this black-robed man was going to do. Come, naturally it was Suze. After he returned home, the more I think about it, the more I feel a pity. Just right, you can test his conjecture. Come on. Li Hong and the two bastards were about to shout. Shush. Suze made a boo gesture to them. Airplanes. As soon as the figure shook, the three people's mouths had more gauze, blocking the mouths of the three people, and the three people tried their best, and there was no way to shout anymore. They could only make a woo-woo cry of fear. Suze came to Li Hong. Right now, Li Hong's face was full of fear, his eyes were wide open, his eyes were full of pleas for mercy, full of panic, his body wanted to move, but he was fixed. Do you remember? How awe-inspiring are you? Suze looked at Li Hong's broken hand, stretched out his hand very calmly, and calmly opened his mouth while stretching out his hand. Bullying classmates, bullying the weak, forcing people to jump off buildings. Sin is unforgivable. Airplanes. He directly tore open Li Hong's broken hand and touched it directly. Li Hong only felt that the blood in his body seemed to be restless. Next second, the blood seemed to be heading towards the wound. An uncontrollable sense of weakness emerged. His gagged mouth made a whining cry for mercy, the sense of weakness became stronger and stronger, and his face no longer had a trace of blood, but he could only look at the handsome, but extremely indifferent, calm face under the hood. This moment, he regretted it. Pity. It was also his last thought. The feeling of weakness grew heavier and heavier, and in the end, his eyes turned black and he was completely silent. Sure enough, Suze looked at the system panel in front of him. Energy bar above. Already full. Obviously. His guess was right. These essence blood, which is a big supplement, can fill the energy bar, replenish attribute points, and the attribute points that were originally 0 began to beat and became 1. Devil. Devil. The two bastards on the side watched everything in front of them, and one of them didn't know when he got rid of the gauze that was gagging his mouth, and made a sound of fear. Demon. Devil. It's the devil. They watched this scene happen, and their boss, as if he had been sucked dry of blood, turned pale and completely died. They are left with only deep regret at the moment. No one thought of it. What they bullied and bullied turned out to be a demon. Shush. Suze shook his head and motioned for him to boo again. He looked at the two and smiled. It's your turn. Don't worry. Soon. 009 Let me judge well. Co-list. 3 more. What are the charges? All the same. Suze spoke softly. He deliberately changed his black robe, this kind of too evil thing, just like the demonization of the supernatural walker, once discovered. I am afraid that it will be hunted down and killed by the entire outside world and the university community, not to mention the Tech Praetorian Guard from Iron Time and Space. In terms of his current strength, once discovered, it is a dead end.